Hi guys, Al Smith here. Welcome to another defense lesson on signals. This time we're going to talk about the signals that the third seat uses when the contract is no trump. Signals in no trump, when the contract is in no trump, are different than those in the in a suit contract. In a suit contract, the primary goal is to give attitude on the first trick, telling your partner whether to continue that suit or to switch to another suit. In no trump, it's quite a bit different. Okay, the challenge in a no trump contract is really a race between the declarer and the defenders as to who can set up a long suit to take tricks in first. Okay, and actually the defenders have the initial advantage because they get to make the opening lead. So we talked quite a bit about opening leads against suit and no trump in the first segment of this course. And your partner can make several different types of leads, but generally he's going to make a power lead in his longest and strongest suit, or he's going to make a development lead in his longest and strongest suit by leading fourth. Okay, and so the challenge is, how do you signal as how in the third seat, you're the partner of the open leader, do you give information as quickly as possible about the quality of the cards that you hold in that suit and the number of cards that you have in that suit? Okay, and this is really the challenge. People have been working on this for years, trying to come up with a signaling system where they can maximize the amount of information that they're giving to their partner. And there have been two complementing conventions that have been developed that for now are the best things that are available. The first one is called the Foster Echo, and that occurs on the first trick. And then the second one is called the Reverse Smith Echo, and that generally occurs on the second trick if the opponent or the declarer or the dummy wins the first trick. So let's take a look at this. There's really three situations that occur in a no-trump contract. Okay, and we'll take the first one, which is really probably the most common, is that your partner makes a development lead in leading fourth, and and you will generally play your lowest, highest, equal. Okay, now we talked about this before, but just as an example, let's say that your partner leads the four clubs. The dummy has the 10, 9, 8, and plays the 8, and you have the Jack 10 and another small one. Your lowest, highest, equal would be the 10. Okay, and by playing the 10, and you assume the declarer takes the trick, it gives your partner information about what the declarer has. For example, if he takes the trick with the ace, and because he has the queen, the king, queen, he knows you have the jack also. So that's kind of the normal thing that will happen. You're going to always play that highest, lowest, equal, unless this is an unblocked overtake situation, which we've talked about before. Okay, and for example, your partner led the jack, it's winning. You've got the king deuce. You're going to play the king, so you can play the deuce and unblock in that suit. Okay, that's an overtake situation, and it's also called an unblock. And another time when you may not do that is to prevent dummy from establishing tricks, or when you can insert a middle card like the 8, 9, or 10 and preserve an honor that's higher than the honor that's in the dummy. Okay, and we talked about those at length in the prior lessons. Okay, now just one thing to note: if you win the first trick, that when your partner leads the suit, you're going to generally leave the highest card back to your partner. Okay, so let's take that example where you had the Jack 10 middle, and you played the 10 and it won. What you're generally going to do, well, first of all, you're going to look at the dummy to see if it's smart to do it. You're going to lead the Jack back, hoping to trap something in the declared scheme. All right. The second area is giving a suit preference signal. Now, these are all things that we're just kind of reviewing from prior lessons, but it's setting the stage of the three different situations. Okay, and in this one, let's say your partner leads the fourth from the suit, and the declarer plays the 9 from the dummy. That's the highest card in the dummy, and you don't have anything bigger than the 9. Well, obviously, your partner did not make a power lead. He's making a development lead. He's saying, hey, can you help me develop this suit? And the answer is obviously no, because you can't beat that low card, that middle-ish card that the dummy that was played from the dummy. What you're going to do there is you're going to give a suit preference signal. We talked a little bit about that last week. Okay, now then there really is the third situation where your partner makes a power lead. Typically, this occurs when your partner makes a power lead, or the dummy is going to win the trick with a fairly high card that you can't beat. All right, and the goal here is to give your partner information about the quality of the suit that you hold and the number of cards you have. Okay. And these are the situations where you're going to use the Foster echo. So let's take a look at what the Foster echo is. Is when you're going to play a card lower than the card partner led or the card played by dummy. Now remember, the card played by dummy should be a Jack, Queen, or King if you're not going to beat it. So what you're going to play, and you know we've noted these unless situations. What you're going to do is the third hand is going to play the second highest card. What this does is gives your partner valuable suit quality information. For example, if you play the 9, it tells your partner you've got a card that's higher than the 9. Now, it's possible that the 9 is the only card you have in your hand. In that case, it might be a little bit misleading, but let's assume you've got 2 or more cards in that suit. So if you play the 9, it tells your partner that you've got 10, Jack, Queen, or something else that's higher. Okay, up to the if the dummy's winning the trick, it would be one card that's higher than the 9, but for which you can't beat the card played by dummy, because if you could, you'd overtake and play a higher card than the dummy's card. Okay, so that's how you give quality information, because if your partner knows that you've got a missing card, they can look at their hand, they can look at the dummy, and they can generally figure out what cards the declarer has. So you can see, if you piece together that little jigsaw puzzle, how valuable that information is of being able to determine what card or cards that the declarer has in relationship to that suit and how to best play that suit to develop it. The second thing is it gives relative count information. And by this, I mean, by using the term relative, okay, if you play the 9, it implies you have something higher. It says, hey, I've got at least 2. Well, if you play something lower than the 9 the next time, for whatever reason, it tells your partner that you started out with 3+. So by piecing together the information, it's giving both quality, suit quality, and count information. Okay, let's take a look at an example here. Okay, your partner makes an opening lead against the no-trump contract by leading the 6. That's the 4th. 1, 2, 3. So it's the fourth highest. Okay, and the dummy plays the 8, ace. Okay, and you have the Jack 8, 4. Okay, normally when we without using a signaling system, it's very difficult to describe what you have because your partner's obviously leading from length. You're not really expected to have that many, generally 2 or 3. Okay, every once in a while you get lucky and you have 4. Okay, so by signaling with the 8, okay, well, first of all, there's the rule of 11. Okay, your partner led with 6. So we take that, we subtract it from 11 and say there are 5 higher outstanding. Now we look at our hand, the Jack, 8. We look at the dummy, the Ace, 10. We say, well, there's 1 card higher outstanding in the declarer's hand. All right. And we've got the Jack 8. We see the 10. Okay. So we're pretty sure that it's probably the Queen or King, given that, you know, it really doesn't make a lot of sense that he's playing the Ace at this particular point in time if he's got the Queen. But just in this example, it says, okay, we're going to play the 8. Now, what that tells our partner is that we probably have 1 card that's higher. You can see the 10, they've got the 9 and the 7, so they can deduce that we probably have the Jack or the Queen. Okay. Now, in normal circumstances, on this particular hand, the dummy probably would play the 10, and we would play the Jack, and then the declarer would play the Queen. Okay, that way, I take that back. We go, we're expecting our partner to have 5. There's 3 in the dummy. There's 3 in our hand. If the dummy plays if the dummy plays the 10, we're going to cover it with the Jack, and then they're going to take it with the Queen. Now, all we need to, our partner is going to have to lead that suit again before they can set up the suit. But in this particular example, just so you know, we're playing the 8 that tells our partner that we've got 1 that's higher. Okay, so we can see that that we know that there's 1 there, and our declarer, because we played the 8, and they can see the cards in their hand, and in the dummy knows that the declarer has 1 card that's higher. Okay, so it's a lot of information that can be very valuable in terms of conveying the information. All right, now that's pretty much all there is to the Foster Echo. Is in that situation when your partner's made a development lead, you can give your partner your play the 2nd highest card in your hand if it falls into that 3rd category or situation. All right, the reverse Smith Echo is a different convention that complements the Foster Echo. Okay. And what it does is, if in that situation where the declarer wins trick 1 in dummy or declarer's hand, you can give information about the quality of cards you have in first bid suit on the 2nd trick when the declarer is leading that suit. Okay, on trick 2, as long as you're not trying to win that trick, let's say that he wins the trick in his hand with the declarer wins the trick in his hand with the Queen, and then leads the Ace of Clubs. Okay, he's going to win that trick, or he's going, and let's say he leads to the Ace of Clubs in the dummy. He's going to win that hand. Okay, now the declarer is going to try to give you some information about the card that he plays. For example, if he led 4th and he plays a lower card, now you know he had started at least 5. Okay, and paying attention to what that spot card is, you need to be able to determine if he had 6. All right, now when it comes back around to you, he's led the club. You're obviously not going to win that trick. Okay, now you really don't want to give count information as it relates to clubs, the suits led. You want to give information to your partner about the suit that they led at trick 1. So to use the Smith Echo by saying if they play a lowish card at trick 2, when the declarer or the dummy is winning that trick, and you're not trying to win the trick as the third hand, okay, what you're telling your partner is that if you play lowish, okay, now it's called reverse because instead of playing highish, you play lowish to give a positive signal. Okay, and you play a lowish card to say, I've got a touch of honor, or I started out with 3 or more cards. And that says you've got present count, because you've already played one, of 2+ cards. All right, so now, if you give a highish card in that suit, I'll play it on that trick. It says, hey, I only have 1 card left, or I have no cards left in that suit. You're in essence denying any real capability to support that suit. And it tells your partner, well, if he doesn't have the proper value, he should look elsewhere for developing a suit rather than the one that he led. Okay, and using this information between the Foster echo and the reverse Smith echo, your partner, it's going to take practice, but the person that made the opening lead will almost always be able to have an extremely good idea what cards are in declarer's hand and how to optimally play that suit. Okay, and it can make a huge difference in terms of whether you defeat the contract or not. Okay. One of the things we want to touch base on is when you don't want to use potentially you don't want to use the Foster echo. Okay, and one of the situations is partner leads 4th from the suit, and dummy comes down with a bunch of good cards in that suit. All right, so he leads a 6, and let's say they play the queen. All right, or even the 10. Okay, you're going to want to give a suit preference signal, because if you know your partner made a development lead, you know he's got at least the ace, king, or queen. You can look at this hand and say, well, the dummy's got the king, queen, he's got the 10. There is no way I can help at all in developing this suit. So when it becomes obvious from the cards that are in the dummy that there is no purpose to using the Foster echo or an attitude, in essence, it's a special attitude signal, and in no trump, give suit preference. Okay, now both you and the opening leader now know that you have to change your attack plan, that you're not going to be able to develop tricks in this particular suit. Okay, so, and we're going to use the signal suit preference just like we have and discussed in detail in last week's in the situational suit preference signals. Okay, low will point to a lower ranking suit, high to higher ranking suit. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of examples. Okay, and kind of walk through those so that you can get the feel for how this works. All right, the contract is 3 no trump. Okay, your partner over here, the declare is down here, and your partner leads the 4. And we're going to say, okay, I see that, that's 4th, that's our probably 4th from the longest to strongest, and we note that he led the 4. Okay, and we look and we see the queen 5, 3. We want to look at this in terms of, first of all, using the rule of 11 to determine something more about the hand. 4 from 11 is 7, so we know there's 7 cards outstanding that are higher than what the cards led. So we could see the queen 5, that's 2. We've got 3, that's 5. So 7 minus 5 is 2. We know the declare has 2 cards higher than the 4. Okay, and so we know that as the third hand. You know that. Okay, the declare doesn't know that yet because he can't see your hand, and his signal information doesn't. His the lead of the 4 doesn't tell him anything about your hand. All right, so the queen gets played from the dummy. Okay, now, since that is a card of significance, ace, king, queen, or jack, okay, it's going to win the trick. What you want to do is you want to communicate information to your partner about the quality of your holdings in the spade suit, and hopefully a little bit about the number of cards you have in the spade suit. So you play the 9. Okay, the 9 can only indicate one of two things. You have only a singleton, the 9, or you have a higher card than the 9. Okay, the majority of the time, you're going to have at least 2. Okay, so you play the 9, and now your partner knows that the player has the ace with 0 to 2 additional spades. You say, why 0 to 2? Because we could have as few as 2. We could have the 9, 10. Our partner doesn't know about the 8 yet. Okay, so that gives our partner a lot of information. He knows that you've probably have, or it's a good chance that you have a 3rd spade. So he's going to drive out that ace of spades anytime he gets into the lead, knowing that you've got a really good chance, probably around 75%, that you're going to have 3 spades and be able to lead the suit back. Okay, now the dummy then leads the ace of diamonds. The player leads the ace of diamonds from the dummy. Okay, and you signal, you're going to use the reverse Smith echo now. You signal by playing the 2. And what this tells your partner is that you've got another spade, another card in spades. It gives you positive. It says, partner, I have something extra in the suit that you led. And that something extra could be a touching honor, or it could be extra cards over 2. Okay, and now that your partner knows that you have 3 spades, he knows he can drive out that ace of spades, and if you get in the lead, you'll be able to lead a spade to him so he can take those tricks. I mean, it's really, it's subtle, it's hard to get used to doing, and piecing these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together, but it can be invaluable in terms of being able to establish the proper defense and set the contract. All right, let's look at another example. Okay, and in this example, the contract's 3-note trump again, and our partner leads the 4. Okay, and the dummy leads the 4 is led, and you're going to use the rule of 11 again. 4 from 7. 4 from 11 is 7. I know it says 5. Okay, so and so it's 7 minus 3 that you can see. You've got 1, 2, 3. So you know now that the declarer has 4 cards higher than the 4, and you know now pretty much that it may be a little bit difficult to develop the suit, but okay, you play the 5. Again, you're going to play the 2nd highest, okay, because they played a card of significance. Okay, if they were going to win this trick with, like, say, the 10 or 9, you would give a suit preference signal. But since they're playing a card of significance, you're going to give a Foster echo. You're going to play the 5, saying you've got 1 higher. All right. Now, if they had played the 3, you'd play the 8 because you're going to play you're going to make the declare win the trick. But in this case, you play the 5. Okay. Now, partner knows that the declare from that. The partner knows that the declare has the ace, because if you had the ace, you would have taken the queen with it. Okay. So he goes, okay, at least I've got the king jack behind him. Okay. but he really doesn't know whether you have uh, three spades and the player has three spades, or you could even have four spades. He doesn't have that information. Okay, now the declare leaves the ace of diamonds, like in the last example. Okay, and now you play the six of diamonds, your highest diamond that you can afford to get rid of. Okay, and I say that it comes back around. He wins the trick. Okay, when your partner finally figures out that your six of diamonds is negative, okay, he'll know that he cannot safely leave spades. Okay, like I said, these are pretty subtle signals. They really take some brain work and concentration to understand and get them to work. But that's the nature of the game. Okay, defensive signals can be really tough. You know, they take a lot of practice and between a partnership to make sure they have common agreement as to what they need. Okay, so that concludes what I call the basic part of this particular lesson. What we're going to do is go ahead and go over to the sharp bridge environment. Okay, I'm going to pause